We just got this little John Deere 70D home, or EX60-1, with a Deere motor in it. Picked this up from Frank Schmidt's 73 Diamond Rio, if you go check his channel out. But I've been looking for one of these for a little while now, and this one's pretty straight. That doesn't mean it doesn't have its little issues, but we can sort them out. So yeah, I've always really wanted one of these. They're hard to find that aren't destroyed or they want 30 grand for them. I wanted a for the Deere it'd be a 190E, or Hitachi would be EX62. I wanted one with the piloted controls. This one has your swing sticks, which are basically directly hooked to a valve. It does have auxiliary hydraulics, which is nice. I gotta look into, I'm assuming these are set up for one way right now, but I don't think it'd be too difficult to make it two way. It might be a matter of just taking the stop bolt out. Nice little 4-cylinder John Deere engine. There is no muffler on it currently. We're gonna have to do something about that. It looks to be pretty sterile under here. Nothing looks too hacked up. So the reason for purchasing this machine, well, one, like I said, I've always wanted one of these. And two, I want something that I can run the dirt screen with and not have to take one of my mainline machines away to do that. So I can leave this up there to feed the dirt screen. I can leave it up there to, you know, load logs up if I need for firewood. You know, it'll be more of a shop sort of machine, yard machine. And being that it's not a huge machine, it'll still be nimble enough to get through the woods, around my trails up there and everything. I don't want to say it's like a beater machine, but when this is all fixed up, if I need it on a job site, I'd have no hesitations about taking it there. Alright, well, we're in the shop now. It's a couple months later. I bought this thing probably mid-September. It's now mid-late December. I really haven't had time to work on it or do anything with it. So I finally put it in the shop a couple days ago, and here we are. We're going to start tearing into this. This is our John Deere 70D excavator. And we've got some hydraulic leaking issues. So, I mean, as you can tell by the shininess of the stick here, and you know, got a little bit of a puddle down there. All 3 cylinders on it need to be repacked, and the center rotary manifold, which if you look in here is this. What that rotary manifold or rotary union, whatever you want to call it, does, it allows hydraulic fluid to get from the top of the machine to the bottom of the machine. So obviously this machine is a 360 excavator, meaning it spins 360 degrees. And the tracks are hydraulically driven. And if you had a blade like a mini excavator or any of that sort of stuff, you'd need to get fluid from the top half to the bottom half. The centerpiece is called your turntable. It's basically a giant ring gear in there, and got some big bearings, and you know, that allows the machine to pivot freely in 360 degrees. And the rotary manifold, as you'll see, I'll show you. I've done it before. I don't know if any of you guys have been sticking around for a little while. You'll have remembered from the 490D that I had that we had to rebuild that one as well. And it's basically a big machined out piece that's got some channels cut into it and seals and whatnot. And anyway, when they leak, they fill the turntable up with hydraulic oil. So the bottom side's not going to be very difficult, I don't think. The top side, on the other hand, is going to kind of suck a little bit, because this is actually your swing gear. What we're after is directly under the main boom pin. So it looks like maybe we can reach it from back on this side here a little bit, but honestly, I think most of our access is going to be right here. So let's get to work. And before we get too far into this, I just want to apologize for any of you that are new to the channel and haven't heard this noise before. This is Marley's ball thrower. You It keeps her occupied while I'm working. So if you hear that noise, that's what it is. So we're into the machine here, and here's your rotary union. Now this plate you can kind of see in there, that's the drain for the turntable. We probably don't have to drain that right now, but I feel like we probably should. So I'm hoping that when I take a bolt out, it'll be enough to drain it. And then I made a little cardboard funnel here, and we run it into our bucket. So wish me luck. Oh boy, there we go. Oh. Why is it there? Okay. Well, there's that. While that's draining, I guess we can work on trying to get some of these loose. I don't really know if I'm going to be able to film a lot of this for you guys, because this is all I got to work with, and my hands are going to be in the way, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, we took these clamps off, trying to get some more access in there. This is pretty rough to get in here. So we got this line off, we got one of the top ones off, and fortunately we have a O-ring face seal plug assortment. If you gotta do any sort of work on these machines like this, I recommend buying these kits, because being able to cap these lines off and not make a super big mess. I mean, unfortunately I made quite a bit of mess, but you know, I also loosened these lines up and went and did something else and came back to this, so it wasn't leaking when I left. Alright, I'm gonna boom you guys back in here, because we are on the last one here and it is not a good time. So you can see our location here we're working with is this one back here. And if I tilt you up here, we're against the swing motor. Remember, we're still working through this little porthole here. So what I was able to do is take my bigger crescent wrench here and run my spud bar, seal pull, or whatever you want to call it, through the end of it like that and use it like a lever. And that's how I was able to crack that one loose. Now I'm able to use a little wrench. We'll get her. Just figured I'd share that with you. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of filming in here. It's just too tight and I can't hardly see what I'm doing. It's all by feel anyway, but we'll have the top lines off in no time, and then we'll get the bottom ones off and just have the mountain bolts. We'll be home free to start rebuilding this thing. Alright, everything up top's loose. Just gotta take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hoses off. That one looks like it could be interesting, but fortunately it's got the best access. So let's get all them popped off and we'll get back, and then we should be able to just drop this unit down. Alright, we got them all cracked, just draining out what fluid's in the manifold itself. Next we gotta just drop the 4 mounting bolts, or 3 mounting bolts, I don't remember how many they are, I think it's 4. And pull the whole unit down, then we can take it apart. Well, it's pretty chilly this morning. It was in the negatives, about -2 this morning. So we got some auxiliary heat, and unfortunately I have a feeling we're gonna have the heater fan running most of the time for this part of the video. But I let this all drain out overnight, so we're just ready to pull those 3 mounting bolts and drop that whole unit down. We'll get it rebuilt. Probably just gonna scoot right out of there. Alright, well, let's see what happens. I got all the bolts loose. Probably want to drop this one. Okay. So something's holding it in there. So yeah, the stub fitting in there is what's holding us up, both of them probably. So I'm going to try and spin that around and get to an easier spot to work on it, and we'll yank them out quick. It's just these low ring fittings. Easy enough to put a socket on. I was able to snaggle it around and sneak the 3/8 impact in there, and that ripped it right out. Oh, there it is. It put up a little bit of a fight, but not not too bad. And just like I remember, it's kind of heavy. So, alright, let's get this thing cleaned up and torn down. Alright, so we gotta pull these 4 bolts off, get this bottom cap off. When we get this cap off, there's gonna be a snap ring in there. Gotta take that off. And basically what you gotta do is you gotta separate this part, which I call it barrel, housing, whatever you wanna call it, from the top part. So this part runs down the side of here, and that snap ring holds it all together. So there's gonna be a bunch of seals in here and channels. That each one of these ports has its own channel and an up pipe that goes to whatever fitting on top coincides. More than likely, this top seal is going to be the one that's bad. All the functions seem to work, had power, there's no lack of track power or anything, so generally the top one will go bad, it'll bypass through, and it leaks through here. And that's what fills up, because this area here is your turntable, because that's where the dust seal rides. That's where it bolts the bottom of the track frame. So it'll leak here and into your turntable area. So, alright, let's get this yanked apart. This one don't have a snap ring, but anyway, it's kind of milky in there. It's kind of gross. This one must be bolted together. Oh boy. Okay, so this one's got all sorts of ball bearings in there. Let me get a dish to try and not lose them. I don't know if we can pluck them out or not. I think once I pull this section in, it'll release them ball bearings. Alright, that should catch these things. Put that there. That should catch most. Oh, there goes some. Alright, well, I think I heard one hit the ground. Alright, so here's what we got. We got this hanging center joint here. We got a rubber tennis ball too. So let's try to get this separated. Probably gonna need, not really sure what we need yet. But I'll figure that out. That's not your problem. That was pretty simple. So yeah, we just gotta clean this piece up. We don't really need to do much with this, but you can see all of these are where the seals ride. You can actually see where the seal's worn into that one. I don't see anything wrong with this, so I think we're gonna get lucky here and just be able to put seals in it. What is kind of wild is, I don't know if you can really move here. The grease that's in here, it reminds me of like animal fat or like grease out of like a bacon pan. It's like just like, I don't know, it's weird. But we got 2 more bearings here. Put them in the glass jar. And we also have one that dropped out in the bottom. So that gives us 4 more there. And we'll clean all these up. Alright, so we got this over on the bench, and right here you can see our problem. This seal is just completely deteriorated. The rest of them in there look pretty good. I know you're probably not going to be able to see that well on the camera, but right there is our problem. This is supposed to be nice all the way around, and it's just falling apart. And that right there is your top seal, so that's what keeps everything where it's supposed to be. Now, that's not saying that some of these aren't worn and dry or whatever, because I mean, from the story I got with this machine sat for a little while. Like I said, I bought this machine from Frank Schmitz, and he told me that it sat a little while at a guy's house, and Frank had to put the injection pump on it or whatever to get her going. So I'm assuming this machine sat for a little bit, and when hydraulics sit, the seals will dry out and get hard, and when that happens, they don't seal properly. So like I said, these inner seals, although they feel okay, we've got them. We're going to replace them, and this top one is our main culprit here. So we'll get them yanked out and we'll put new ones in. Probably not going to go into a whole ton of detail here, because if you want to see this done, I did this on a 490 John Deere excavator a couple years ago. The video is on my channel, so kind of want to keep this more so with fixing up this machine, not doing a repair I've already done, and showing you guys. So put you in time lapse and I'll rip through it real quick. Yeah, that seal is no good. It's just deteriorating. Came apart in a couple pieces. Yeah. No good, but I like when we find an actual problem, something that's like dead giveaway. So, all right, well let's speed this up and get the rest of the part. Putting these seals back in is pretty straightforward. It's kind of like putting the seals in a hydraulic cylinder. They make a tool for it, but I don't have it. I don't know why I don't have it, but basically you want to take it and you want to bend it like this, like that, kind of shape of a heart or a peanut. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. That way you can get it down in there. I like to put oil on it, but I'll do that after they're in there, because you know, they're already hard enough to put in. So I'll get these thrown in and get her slammed back together. Kind of show you here how I've been putting them in. Like I said, I really need to buy this tool, but it does kind of worry me a little bit doing it this way. But if you get it, because it worries me today because it's kind of cold out. It's cold in the shop here. It's not super warm. If it were like 90 degrees out, it'd be a little bit different, but so I do it like this. Jeez, come on now. You just carefully hold them together, and that tool normally holds it like this. Let me just get you guys slide over here. You put it in there. You put it in your spot in the slot there, and you take it, and you should be able to just kind of work it. It folds right into place. So that's all of the seals in there. I got it flipped over right now because we did the bottom side. Alright, we got a nice thin coat of grease on all the seal surfaces here. Wipe it off where the passages are. I'm gonna take some oil here. I got AW46 oil. I'm gonna put on those seals there, and then we'll slap it together. Hopefully, by doing this, it'll make everything go together real nice and easy. Just got some diesel in here with these ball bearings. Give it a good shake around. That's a pretty good way to get the grease separated from this. I've heard kerosene works really good for that too. Alright, we got all the ball bearings in there. We're at the final lip here. So we had to kind of resort to using a hammer. There it goes. All the ball bearings are in there. Now let's just hope on the other side we're gonna be okay with the ball bearings. Alright. I don't know how good of a shot this is gonna be, but this is what we got to work with. Put all these ball bearings in here. And hopefully we can get them to all work together. It's either gonna go great or bad. Couldn't tell you. Okay, so the idea that came to mind is put this plate back in and do this, because I think this needs to be installed opposite. Because what happened is when I was messing around with this, some of the ball bearings on the top side actually came out. So we're gonna put this in. That should hold those bearings in place, those ball bearings. Flip it over and hopefully assemble it. Alright, we got this all back together besides the bottom cap. I'll make sure everything spins freely. And I know it should spin a little freer than that, but at the same point, it's got all new seals in it, so we'll just put the little pipe wrench on it. I mean, it does spin pretty free here. It's literally just the weight of the wrench going on here. I think this is good. Alright, well, let's just say it's a lot easier coming out going in. Everything's back in, it's all tight, all the lines are hooked up. Man, what a pain trying to get all them hard lines back up. I don't remember it being this bad on the 490, but this one, working through this little window here, the underside's cake. I mean, I'll take that any day. But working up here, it's tight. So, guess we could start her up and see if it leaks. Another annoying thing, well, there's a couple things. One is the lack of muffler. Two is the starter solenoid hardly ever works. More stuff to fix. So we do have some oil leaking out, but I just adjusted the boom and I actually have the front of the tracks up a little bit. So I'm thinking that little bit of adjustment may have rocked the turntable forward. I think what I'm going to do is there's this big plug here. I'm going to pull that plug out and use my vacuum oil extractor and try and clean that whole turntable out. And that'll really tell us if it's still leaking or not. Alright, we sucked as much as we could out of there. And fully took the bottom cover off here. This is the little plate. So let's fire it up again, see if it leaks. And let's just hope it doesn't leak and hope it was just because we were on that little bit of an angle. So we're under the machine here, and if it's going to leak, it should be coming out of that hole. Which I don't believe it is. Sweet. So that's a good thing we got that fixed. We don't have to worry about that leaking. However, we aren't done with hydraulic leaks yet. This one's pretty bad. This one's pretty bad. And this one's really bad. As you can see, it accumulates down there. So, there will be plenty more hydraulic repairs But first, let's go over a couple other issues that we need to fix. I really want to just get all the hydraulic stuff done first, because that's the major sort of dirty work. But so, going around this machine, the things that I'd like to fix to make it usable for me. So obviously we have the hydraulic repairs. We repaired the center union. We got to repack 3 cylinders. This glass is missing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the actual piece of glass, or I'll just cut a piece of plexiglass. We have some electrical issues. Right now the battery is turned on, or the battery is hooked up. And you can see the lights are in the dash, and when you turn the key off, it is still on, and so on. This bee's nest of whatever somebody made with natty light boxes. The door does not open from the inside when you're in there. Ask me how I found that out. We need to put an exhaust on it of some sort. You need to fix the starter solenoid. The engine oil was pretty clean looking, so I'm gonna say that's gonna be okay. We're not gonna bother with that. We will check the air cleaner out. So to go along with the lights on the dash being on, this battery relay needs to be installed somewhere. This isolates the negative, and that's what kills. It's basically a battery cutoff switch, but it's electrically actuated. So I gotta figure out how to wire that in. So now we'll get back to the hydraulic repairs. Alright, I'm sure if any of you guys are watching the channel for a little while, you've seen me rebuild some hydraulic cylinders. I've done it, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you how many times, probably 3-4 times on the channel. So we're going to work on redoing these cylinders. I'm going to give you a in-depth disassembly, reassembly of one of them, and the rest of them I might give you time lapse, or they might just go back to the machine ready to go. Rebuilding a hydraulic cylinder is not a difficult task. It's a very simple thing. As long as you're clean and do it properly, there's nothing really to mess up. And since these cylinders aren't damaged in any way, it's just need new packing and seals, should be pretty straightforward. The worst part is getting them apart. Once you get them apart, you're golden. So we're gonna work on this one here. So this is your gland nut, and this one's got like a locking ring on it. So you want to bend all them in. That one's bent a little bit, and that one down there is not bent. So just gotta pound all them in with a hammer and a punch, and you're gonna loosen this ring. That'll take our cap off. So let's get started on that. Just take a hammer and a punch. Make sure you got that nice and flat. Now sometimes we might be able to get lucky. Does not look like we're gonna get lucky, but there's actually a tool for this. I don't have it. I'm not really sure why I don't have it, but I mean, the idea is to loosen this cap. That's okay. We've got another tool that does that. This pipe wrench basically will take anything off, so put this on here in case it jumps off, and hopefully it won't mar up the chrome. Look at that. So yeah, all you need to do is break that free. Once that's free, I'm gonna go get a pan because we're gonna have some oil spillage. If anybody watching knows where to get a good set of gland wrenches, let me know, because I've bought cheap ones before and they bend, they don't work well. I wouldn't mind spending a good bit of money on a good set of gland wrenches. I'm kind of realizing there's probably gonna be more fluid in this pan's gonna catch, but I'm sure we'll have a little bit of time to go get a bigger bucket. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. That wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be. In the gland nut here is where our problem's gonna be. Since it's leaking out this seal, that means the seals inside of this are what's leaking. All right, now we got the gland nut off, or the gland nut off the end. We got that end of the cylinder blocked up. We're going to lift this up slightly, pull the pin out. All right, there we go. We now have our cylinder barrel ratchet strapped in place with a block of wood under there. So now the idea is we're going to pull the chrome rod out. Alright, so what's holding us back now is the seals in here are still good. So we need to take, it's basically pulling a vacuum is what's happening. So this line drained out because that's what pulls the cylinder in. This line's what pushes the cylinder out. But that's holding a vacuum. So we got to take this hose off down here, and that should drop pressure from that line. So. Oh boy. Wow, it's tight. Okay. We should try heating that up a little bit. Okay, there we go, that did it. We really should replace this hose. A lot of the hoses on this machine are in pretty bad shape. Oh, that was not what I was expecting. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but anyway. So I've got the cylinder rod here on the track on the rag. Now this nut on the end of the cylinder rod has an incredible amount of foot-pounds of torque to hold it in there. And I really think the only way I'm going to be able to get it apart is to put it back in the machine and crank it off. That's how I usually do it. Problem is, I guess the cat's out of the bag. I bought a new excavator, but like all my projects, it's hard to hide these things. Not that I'm hiding it, but you know, I want it to be special, so I don't want to show too much stuff, but just like this machine. A lot of you guys have actually picked this machine out in the background, asking about it and everything, and I've had this machine for a couple months before I had time to even work on it. I promise you guys, there will be a video on it, just like the other Volvo excavator, you know. I'm sure you guys have seen the background in some of the videos. But for now, I think we either need to move it outside, or maybe I'm going to keep it in here, because I might need something to apply more torque to the wrench with. So this is a 2 3/8 on the end of here. Got this little keeper wire here. I guess we'll just. Oh, there's actually a pin that went through there. Okay. Now, I know this is an actual nut socket, but I can give her a go. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna do it. All right, we're gonna have to lock this thing down and get some torque on it. Okay, well, I have a feeling that's not gonna cut it. Oh wow. That did it. Cylinder's a little different than any other one I've taken apart. But okay. So this here's your rod packing, I guess you want to call it. Nothing wild, just some plastic seals and a mill seal. These are real easy. Sometimes they have an O-ring on the inside. You got this shim, very important. Got to remember the shim. All right, so we got the gland nut and the piston packing nut, you want to call it. We got them here, and here's our new seal kit. Now these are actual John Deere numbers. I'm not sure if they're genuine seals or not. They're John Deere part numbers, so it's usually a good start. Looks like we have all the seals probably for this. So that's our main culprit, but I got it apart. I really want to change. Actually, I think. Yeah. Okay, so they're just not giving us those, which I guess is okay. There's really nothing wrong. It's not leaking internally. To be honest with you, I'd almost be half tempted to just put this back together without changing this, because this can be a fight changing this. This is, like I said, this is our problem here. So as you can see, you've got your outer dust seal. You got multiple seals in there. You got O-ring and a backing plate there. So let's get that cleaned up. All right, let's pull this seal out first. Okay, so that seal matches up with this seal. Just gonna put these in order there. Okay, next we got this seal. Looks like is next. Actually, that's a lie. This little guy might be next. So this one's next in there, but there's also like a flat seal, which I believe is this one here. That was on top of that one. Just put these in order the way they come out. And then we got, it looks like probably this one's gonna be next. That one there. That one there is pretty good. That one's bad. Look how hard that seal is. So yeah, that would be this seal, I think. I think that's it for inside. Outside it's pretty obvious. Outside we got the O-ring is down. The O-ring. And this. We don't have. Interesting. Well, we'll take this off. Try not to damage this because this is just a, it's like a support for the O-ring. Keeps it from squishing. But reassembly. I use oil. I'm going to start with the outside first. So we'll put this in. This is your top plate. This goes up top. This one's not split. I think we're going to clean and reuse the old one because it's split. You'll stretch that out if you try and get that over there. And be quite honest with you, there's nothing wrong with these parts. Just gotta get them clean. Take some oil. Get this all lubed up here. Alright. There's that. Like I said, our problem's on the inside of this, not the outside, so. What does concern me? Oh, look. That's that piece we needed. Okay. Cool. So they were just stuck together. This one here is not super crucial. It's just, that's just down here. It's just the thread seal. We gotta put this one in first. This is gonna be interesting. Oof. Oh boy. I don't know if you're supposed to do this with these or not, but it's kind of our only option here. Okay. Here we go. Good thing I filmed some of this stuff because, man, I'd probably be lost without it. So, this part goes down. The opening goes towards this end. So, flip it over. Now we gotta get that to go in there. So, of course, we're gonna oil it up here. And see if we can get her to wiggle down in there. Okay. It actually went a lot better than expected. Let me put the other thing here. These things, these probably all have technical terms, but man, I don't know. Last thing we got is our dust seal. Let's go find a socket that'll fit that. Okay. There you have it. Now, I'd have to imagine this piece may have been the problem in there, but or it could have been that white colored seal, which would be this one here. That one's pretty hard, so as long as you're careful doing it, you should just slide right in, and you're good to go. Simple as that. So this pin setup's a little different. I've never seen anything like that before. But anyway. I know this is going. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can not damage a digit. Ready to watch the struggle, because here it comes. Okay. Now, gotta make sure we got that oriented right. Okay. Protect those seals. Now. Well, there we go. Must have got just the right cheat code there. Yeah, good to go. Now that the rod's in there, we can just run this up a little bit farther. The good thing is, that's building pressure now, so slide that up in there. Let's oil them seals up. Oh yeah, hear that pressure coming out of there? We did something right. Just lube them up real good. Get some oil in there, oil on the threads. Alright. Let's slam her back together here. You know, half these don't have these lock rings, so it'll be just fine without it. Okay. Get a closer look at this pin retainer system. So you put the pin through like that, and you put this unit right over top of it. Man, they must not like their fingers a lot on these machines, because, man, everything involves pinching fingers somehow. Now, ideally, you want this so that it's over top of that. But, yeah, so there you go. So that's all back together. Just got to tighten that line. So aside from this line here, which we will put right back right now, that's basically it. The cylinder's back together, it's all pinned in. It's not a whole lot to it, so I'm gonna do the other two here. I said, unless I find something interesting, I'm probably not gonna film much of it, because do you guys really want to watch me rebuild 2 more cylinders like this? I mean, this is probably painful enough for you. So, all right, let's get to it. So we were working on this main boom cylinder and got it all apart. However, the seal kit I was sent is the wrong one. So we're kind of on hold for that. So we're going to work on some of the electrical problems with this machine. So you come back here, and the big problem with this is you have to disconnect the battery every time, because the lights in the, let's see if I can get this. I can't get an arc out of it right now. But, oh, there we go. Get a little bit of an arc. But, so the big problem here is that you have to disconnect the battery every time you're done with the machine, because if you don't, the lights on the dash stay on, and it'll kill the battery. So it came with this battery isolator, and this is how it's supposed to be set up, that when you turn the key on, it turns this on, pulls the coil, connects the 2 negatives, and away you go. So I had a new cable in stock, and even black too. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to mount this isolator right here. Originally it would have been mounted down in here, but the way the batteries are in here right now, it's not going to fit. So we'll just drill new holes, we'll clean the area up good, because this is self-grounding. Now the way this works is that you'll have a hot feed to your key at all times. But that hot feed doesn't do anything because the machine itself is not grounded. But since this isolator is grounded all the time, all you need to do is turn the key switch, and it'll send that hot signal here and turn this on, because this is grounded and the hot feed doesn't care about anything unless it touches the ground. Since the machine itself isn't grounded through the battery, and this is grounded through the battery, it will enable this switch to turn on. Not sure if that makes sense or not. I drew a little diagram, I'll put that in here. So here's a rough diagram of what we're working with. Right now we're at the batteries here. So they're wired in series, give you 24 volts. Your negative battery goes over to your isolator. Your positive, the main lead goes to the starter. That's normally how it works. And then there's a lead that comes off. This is a little bit different, but it comes off the starter and goes up to the key. That's your main hot lead. Off that, there's a lead that's switched that comes down here to your isolator to actuate it. The lead that's switched is the one that we need to find, and I don't know if it's here, so I'm not sure if it is or not, or if we need to run one. But you know what? Oh no, there's only one wire in there, I think. You might have to cut that apart. There might be another. We might have what we need in here. Oh yeah, look. I wonder if that's our switch. So anyway, you'll have that lead that comes off and it activates this, which will ground out your solenoid and give your machine power. I think about there should work. There's a piece of channel that runs through here, over here. So if we mount it there, that shouldn't be a problem. Alright, so we got the ground hooked up here. This is self-grounded. So now when you take the power probe, you just hit this. When you energize the power probe, you hear the click, and that's connecting the two there. So the idea is, all you gotta do is send a power feed from here. It doesn't even have to be attached to this battery. It just has to be power from this side. And you run it through the key switch, nothing else is gonna light up because the machine itself isn't grounded. So when you juice this terminal up, this unit here is grounded already. So it already has what it needs to make a connection. And that will energize this coil without energizing the machine. And then once it connects to them, the machine's gonna be grounded, you're good to go. So. Okay, we gotta go turn the key on quick. Alright, key's on. Look at that. Almost lost it. Okay, well, there we go. That problem should be fixed. Now we don't have to unhook the battery anymore. Also, I went through here, changed a couple of these fuses, and now we have a heater with low, medium, high. And check this out. We've got the interior light too. We don't have a horn though. That does not work. But anyway. So, I was really mostly concerned about the heater working because it's kind of cold here. So, I guess this would work too, but that's going to be 24 volts. So, we're going to leave that be. Next problem. It don't seem to start. So. Oh, we do have some lights too. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the one work light over there does work. We're going to change them all to LED anyway, but I just wanted to show you that some of the interior stuff does work, which is pretty impressive. Oh, and the fuel gauge works too, which is also kind of impressive. Alright, so this solenoid here is basically what tells the starter solenoid to activate. I feel like this could probably be done with a relay, but this looks like just a Ford style solenoid. It doesn't really work all the time. I know wires are off right now, but I've had to jump it the last couple times. So let's get this off, see if we can test this a little bit more and try and fix that. So I'm gonna hook this up. It works just fine. So I'm wondering if we have a wiring issue. Probably should have looked into that first. I just assumed it was a faulty part. So these two wires here are what activate that solenoid. So we're just going to cut these connectors off. Actually, I found old school, they push over the studs, so we'll use them. Before I put this anywhere and mount it back in there, I'm going to just hook these wires up and make sure that it works. Make sure there's not another issue, because we tested the solenoid and that works. So we'll just put that in there and hope it doesn't jump off of there. Okay, that seems to work good. So we took that off for no reason. This handle makes a lot of rattling when it's running. So let's just tighten that up. Much better. Another thing this machine needs. It is very difficult to get into the cab. Now granted, it's up about 8 inches right now, but there's no step. We'll build one. Definitely needed that. Something simple like that. Just gives you a little bit of step. I guess the next thing we want to tackle is this. And figure out why the door doesn't open from the inside. But I don't know what this stuff is, so we're going to try and get it off there. I mean, but apparently it's fueled by natty light. Oh, there's a born on date. Oh, I can't quite read it. I'll try and figure that out for you guys. So I'm assuming the born on date represents the date of the glorious repair. You probably can't read it as well as I can, but it says June of 04. So we're going on about 20 years of repair here, and I really don't know if it held up good or not, because it doesn't look like it was a good repair to start with. I guess we're going to try and just start cutting and hacking this. I don't know. I'd like to separate from the metal. Oh, there we go. Does anybody know what this stuff is? I'm not really sure. Oh, look. That's some actual steel. I don't know. We got some tin foil in there. You gotta love the creativity on this, huh? Alright. Okay. Well, it looks like that's good there. Yeah, I don't know what exactly is going on here, but we're gonna find some way to make that better. So our door unlatching issue from the indoors is just a matter of linkage adjustment. We'll get her fixed up here. We're just gonna bend this rod, give us a little bit of travel, and we actually have adjustment here, so. Go. That's working good. You don't have to adjust it. Sweet. Alright, we got this cleaned up a little bit here. By the way, like our window crank, pretty nice. So this is, I think, what we're going to work on. Got this piece of flat steel here that I'm going to use to pull this window sill back, and I'll attach it there. And that'll give us our structural support back here. Obviously, I can't push it back with one hand and get it set up. But we'll put that in there like that. And that'll give us our structural support back of the door. So when you grab the handle, it's not flexing the door. And then we might run one more piece of flat steel from here down to here. I haven't decided on that yet. Or I might just make some sort of cover to go over that. And then we'll just blend all this in with Bondo probably. That way it's got a smooth edge there, and you can probably paint it, and it'll be nicer to look at, and there won't be any sharp edges like that. That'll tear you up if you catch that with your shirt or whatever. So that'll just kind of finish everything off. All this down here, I mean, we'll clean up the whatever sharp edges, but I think I want to leave this open, because then you can always get into your door latch mechanism if you need to. And let's face it, it's not a brand new machine, so as long as it's functional and safe, that's pretty much priority here. Alright, so we'll get this lined up here. We're good. All right, let's get this welded in. Prepare to see some expert bodywork skills here. All right, it's next morning here. We got this all cured up and we sanded it off real quick. That is a lot nicer than that fueled by natty light thing we had going on there before with tinfoil and whatever this is. Yeah, I know it's a little bit crude with that hole there, but I'd rather be able to access that so you can frequently lube it up or whatever. So let's get some paint on that and keep moving. Yeah, I know. I couldn't find a handle. Found one, but it wasn't a spline mount one, so... this will have to do. How many of you can say you got an excavator with a crank down window? Well, would you look at that? We got the cylinder back together. Finally got our seals in. So all we gotta do is slam that up in there. All right. Well, we got this last cylinder repacked. That means all the cylinders plus the rotary manifold are resealed. Realistically, a lot of these hydraulic lines should be replaced, but I counted like 10 that are kind of sketchy. However, I don't want to replace them all right away. I do have a hydraulic hose crimper, so I might just buy the fittings and hose to make them myself. Regardless, I think that's going to be a separate video. So, when I was knuckling this under, I realized that there's no hydraulic fluid left in the machine. Between it all leaking out and the volume of all these cylinders here leaking out, we emptied the tank. So let's add some fluid into this thing. Alright, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's the top line right there. By the time we lift the boom up and run the dipper cylinder in, it'll drop down some, and let's be honest, it's probably going to need more, and we're probably going to blow a hydraulic line at some point, so being a little overfull is not going to hurt it. But the main thing is, let's just hope that nothing we've repaired leaks. Alright, our plexiglass showed up. Let's cut a window. So you can kind of see that sets in there nicely. Our angles sit in the corners. It doesn't have to be a perfect fit. It's just got to be pretty close. I think this will work. Fits in there pretty good. Let's go test fit the machine quick. That'll work. I think that's perfect. Let's take it out, pull the film off, and put it back in. There we go. And we even tinted it. Okay, well that kind of puts us at a spot where we can end this video I do have more stuff I want to do to it, but I think we're getting pretty long on this one. I want to put a hydraulic thumb on it, work on the hydraulics, get them down here, change the coupler. But at this point, I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I bet you we're over an hour. It's hard to say, but I think we basically took this machine from a leaky beast to it's usable now. So, all right, we will catch you on the next one.